Welcome to Tactical Talk. This is Zan Khan. Fourth generation warfare is conflict characterized by blurring of the lines between war and politics, combatants and civilians. Today we will be discussing this dimension of battle space with Colonel Suhail in great detail. Welcome to our show, Colonel Suhail. This is Zan Khan.
Thank you very much, Zan. I am grateful and very happy to be here.
Colonel Suhail, it is being said that Pakistan is fighting the fourth generation warfare. Before we see what are the characteristics of fourth generation warfare, would you tell us what were the earlier generations of warfare?
The concept of four generations in the history of warfare was created by a team of American analysts, including William Lind, for the purpose of classifying various methods of warfare in relation to the use of different weapons and tactics. We will briefly have a look at the previous three generations. First generation warfare runs roughly from year 1650 to 1860. It refers to the battles fought with massed manpower using line and column tactics. The concept of vast lines of soldiers meeting face to face became impractical due to heavy casualties. Second generation warfare is the tactics used after the invention of the rifled musket and breech loading weapons. In the start of the 19th century, the use of the breech loading rifled muskets and machine gun meant longer ranges, greater accuracy and faster rate of fire. Hence, a new strategy was developed. They still maintained lines of battle but focused to allow smaller units of men to maneuver separately. These smaller units allowed for faster advances, lesser casualties, and the ability to use cover and concealment for greater advantage. The second generation saw the rise of trench warfare, artillery support, more advanced reconnaissance techniques, and fire teams maneuvers. The third generation warfare is based not on firepower and attrition, but speed, surprise, and physical dislocation. Tactically, in the attack, a third generation military seeks to get into the enemy's rear instead of closing and destroying frontally. Essentially, this was the end of linear warfare on a tactical level, with units seeking not simply to meet face to face, but to outmaneuver each other to gain the greatest advantage.
Colonel Suhail, what is fourth generation warfare?
Fourth generation warfare basically aims at annihilating the enemy internally rather than physically destroying him, and the targets include population support for the war and correct identification of enemy's strategic centers of gravity. In broad terms, fourth generation warfare seems likely to be widely dispersed and largely undefined. The distinction between war and peace is blurred. It is non-linear to the point of having no definable battlefronts. The distinction between civilian and military also disappeared. It is a war in which one of the major participants is not a state, but rather a violent non-state actor. In most simple terms, the fourth generation warfare can be termed to thrive on the internal intrigues and dissensions within enemy state. It calls for causing rift and disrespect of the armed forces in the minds of the population by different methods. Parochialism is encouraged and ethnic strife is created in the public. Certain elements of media are made to play in the hands of external forces, through which further disinformation, dissension and anarchy is created in the society.
Colonel Suhail, what are the ramifications of fourth generation warfare?
Covering the ramifications of the fourth generation warfare, we see that the actions will occur concurrently throughout participants' depth, including their society. Major military facilities such as airfields, communication centers, and target headquarters will bear the brunt. The same may be true of civilian equivalents such as seats of government, power plants, and industrial sites. Psychological operations may become the dominant operational and strategic weapons in the form of media and information intervention. Fourth generation adversaries will be adept at manipulating the media to alter domestic and world opinion to the point where skillful use of psychological operation will sometimes preclude the commitment of combat forces. Recent conflicts confirm that war is in fact evolving in conjunction with the political, economic, and social changes affecting society as a whole. This change is not to be achieved through the traditional methods of superiority of the battlefield. Rather, it is to be accomplished through the superior use of all the networks available in the information age. Tactically, fourth generation war will also have the following ramifications. First, it will be fought in a complex arena of low intensity conflict. Second, it will include tactics and techniques from earlier generations. Third, it will be fought across the spectrum of political, social, economic, and military networks. And fourth, it will involve a mix of national, international, transnational, and subnational actors.
What should be the role of the government to function effectively in the environment of fourth generation warfare?
To succeed, fourth generation warfare warriors destroy the moral cohesion that binds a society. They do this with menacing attacks that threaten the very basis of human instinct for survival. Mistrust and divisions among internal groups is created by producing uncertainty in the political system's ability to support its people. Government's role is therefore very important. They have a responsibility to respond to the political, economic, and diplomatic aspects of this warfare, as well as to maintain public order. The government must approach its citizens to build their confidence and to counter asymmetric threats aimed at spreading fear, chaos, and anarchy. A comprehensive and long-term strategy must therefore be evolved and enforced in order to counter this threat, as it seriously affects the public both mentally and physically. The creation of National Counter-Terrorism Authority and formulation of National Action Plan are, however, right steps in the right direction.
Last question, Colonel. How can the media and the public combat the fourth generation warfare?
Society is influenced by media in many ways. It is the media that helps them to get information and also to form opinion and make judgments regarding various issues. During the last 25 years, the media has shown tremendous growth and now it has become an organized industry. Its influence is widespread in every walk of life. It is regarded as the fourth pillar of the state and its importance is well recognized. Recently, its significance has enhanced due to its effective role in warfare. If the media identifies its responsibility and works sincerely and honestly, then it can serve as a great force in building the nation. It is the responsibility of each individual and the civil society to voice concern if a certain segment of media is found working against the interest of the state. Fight in an environment of fourth generation war will have to be in tandem on many fronts by all state institutions and even citizens. The civil society must realize the sensitivity of national security matters and must talk and act responsibly in order not to jeopardize it.
This was Colonel Suhail, a defense analyst and also a retired colonel in the Pakistan military. Until the next episode, this is Zain Khan. Take care and goodbye.